born to kill. All living things looked at him with fear. This was the first time where he met someone who wasn't afraid of him. Baru says it's been a while since then, and thinks that for a human who isn't afraid of him to appear. Suho marvels over Baru and calls to him while he takes off. Baru calls it strange and wonders why the little lord is always looking for him, and Igris interjects that he wouldn't hate him. An ant, larger than a human, is walking, can fly, and can talk. What child would hate that? Baru puts the pieces together. A dwarf welcomes the commander, who tells him that they need to alter their plan, which prompts the dwarf to contest that the statue of the liege has been planned by him since a few months ago for the liege's 32nd birthday. But Baru clarifies that he only wants to adjust that part. Giving directions, the dwarf affirms its possibility. However, they need a lot more people compared to right now, and he asks to mobilize the demons who created the demon statue, to which Baru affirms. At Jin's house, some thugs get ready as it's made clear that because of Jin Woo, their gang was dismembered. Kangdo died because he got caught robbing the detective's house when his wife and son were at home. The thugs, surprised there's no security, and jump drop into the compound. The leader questions what happened to the other two, when Baru lunges for the thug and grabs him while shushing him and explains that the little lord has just fallen asleep for his nap, and it's not something a unwelcome guest should interfere with. A familiar stare and emotion. He likes the liege's trust and the little lord's interest. In the abyss, demons lead construction efforts as the dwarf asks Baru how it looks, to which he replies that he's sure his lodge will be happy when seeing this magnificent and beautiful statue. When the little lord can step foot into this place in the distant future, he's sure this gift will be very meaningful. But realizing the little lord is there, they all look to him, who begins flying, and this side story continues. Sung Suho's mother is asked to take a look at this drawing he drew. Cha asks what's wrong with the drawing and is told that the teacher told Suho to draw a friend. Cha realizes the ant is standing on two legs before being told that there Suho was asked to draw other friends too. And the next drawing is how Suho drew his family. But the last drawing is why she called Cha in today. They've looked after numerous children, but this is the first time they've seen a child's friends and family drawn like this. They first thought he was being bullied, but they don't think that anymore, though it's possible Suho has a unique talent. At home, Jinwoo is surprised by Suho's 5-year-old artistic ability, prompting Cha to direct him to the last page where Suho said that on the background there's a huge dad. Jin laughs, causing Cha to ask what's so funny, but Jin disaffirms, saying he had just thought of something funny. Cha tells him that the other children are scared of Suho and explains that whenever they get close to him, their expressions change unprovoked. The reason why the children are avoiding Suho is because they can feel the shadows. Usually, in order to destroy everything an otherworldly god has made, they hide a horrific weapon inside their most trusted servant. If the power of the Shadow Monarch is gradually growing inside Suho, who's inherited the power without his knowledge, it'd be impossible to live a normal life. At least until Suho reaches the age where he can perfectly control his power, there is a need to suppress it. Jin states his intentions to Cha and gives Baru a drawing from Suho. Looking at the drawing, he begins crying, asking if he can say his goodbyes to the little lord. Peeking in the room, Baru says that he will say goodbye on behalf of all shadow soldiers. It was an honor to be able to serve the little lord until they meet again. Please be well, little lord, even if Baru isn't there. Father Wu wishes sweet dreams and place his hand over Suho's face. Time passes and Suho walks to school. This side story continues. High school is like the world of the jungle. New classroom, new classmates, Lee Yuncheol chats with friends, and with just one look, every decision has been made. Who will be your friend, and who will be inferior to you? Jo Sung-ho insists they get along, and Lee thinks that it's not bad to be friends with him. He thinks the hierarchy here has pretty much been sorted, but the problem is that guy. Suho talks with other and turns his gaze along with his whole head. Lee gets angry, calling him a cocky bastard, but Jo says that they went to the same school and it's best to just leave him alone. Lee turns furiously and asks if he wants to die. Later outside, Lee questions who the hell he is for Jo to be acting like this, to which Jo replies that he's the strongest guy from his junior high. He's someone that they can't touch and was worried that something would happen, so he read the situation and interfered. Lee continues hitting him, saying that if there was a guy like that, there would be rumors. Stepping in, he tells Sung-ho to say it was him this time too. They'll call it self-defense. Jo agrees, as Lee Lee questions this when suddenly a brat is kicked in the stomach and sent hurtling backwards. The next, his head kicked to the curb. Lee shoots a jab towards Suho, who's got his hands in his pockets, but he blitzes his foot back and deflects his arm before switch front kicking him in the face. With the bullies defeated, Suho tells Joe that since it turned out like this, he'll leave the rest to him. Rumors spread of Joe Sunho's fighting prowess while Suho thinks about how boring it is. He feels like he knew about more surprising and exciting things and decides to leave, but for some reason, the door isn't opening. Suddenly, all time slows and stops outside Suho. He questions how this happened when a gate suddenly opens. This side story continues. After time stopped and a gate opened in Suho's class, he questions what it is and what he should do. He wonders what his daddy Jin-woo would have done and walks forth through the gate. Arriving on the other side, he questions where the hell he's at. The gate closes behind him, and he knows the route back is blocked, so he has to go forward. Suho is wowed while looking down the hall at the arsenal when a system pop-up occurs, explaining the halberd and scaring Suho, who soon realizes that all the weapons have it and it seems like a game. Wandering down the hall, he realizes that there are restrictions on choosing them based on level. Looking over and wondering if they're on display because they're all bad, he looks at Jin-woo's signature dagger. Seeing the gauntlets, Suho thinks that since knives are cliché, he'll play around with those. Putting on the gauntlets and feeling a little enhanced, a status window for Suho opens, showing his info. Later, wandering the halls, he passes a knight that suddenly lifts its sword and strikes down on Suho. Barely noticing it, he blocks just in time to wonder what the hell is happening before dialing in, breaking the knight's guard and rapidly punching it until it breaks. The system notifies him of a level up just as he turns around, remembering that there were many more on the way here. This side story continues. After Suho gets surrounded, the knights charge forth, and he powers up before blitzing and punching through them. He levels up multiple times and stands in a pit surrounded by knights. After some time and destruction, Suho dashes toward a group of knights. He smashes one's face while the other takes a swing, but he dodges and kicks it for the finisher. Taking a breath at level 19, Suho knows that if he defeats those armored monsters, he'll level up, and this really feels like a game. Maybe it's because he's no longer struggling, but he wonders if their levels are higher than his since he was able to defeat them at level 1 as well. Or maybe it's because of this power. Proclaiming he wants to be stronger, he opens the massive doors to see a black knight on the throne. Wondering if he's the boss, Suho notes that he looks strong. Gripping his sword, Igris stands before Suho, who thinks that he needs to attack first. But before he knows it, Igris is right in front of him and... Suddenly waking up in the hallway, Suho questions how he's alive and realizes this is the place he started from. Going down the same path, he realizes one of the 3 torches is out. Since he's leveled up, he decides to change his weapon and heads back in, thinking he needs to be more careful. A torch later, Suho wakes back up to see 2 of the 3 torches out. He throws a tantrum while thinking that the Black Knight is too strong, and at this rate, he won't be able to beat him. Realizing this sword seems like the one the Black Knight's using, he wonders how big the gap in their levels truly are. Suho decides to level up a little more this time before facing him. Pressing forth toward the knights, he questions if the knights aren't tired of this. Realizing they revive every time too, he smirks, wondering if they have infinite regeneration. Crushing one with an axe, impaling with a spear, bashing with his shield, he levels up as an archer takes aim. But Suho blitzes behind and punches him to another dimension. After clearing the hall, the system notifies him he's reached the required level and is offered a title quest. Accepting, gates appear, and he's told that he can gain points needed for a high-class title based on how long he endures. Time starts and knights walk forth, but Suho smiles, thinking that he was in a tough spot because he didn't have a watch. But this changes things. This side story continues.